Palestinians are trapped in Gaza amid Israel's bombing campaign. During the last couple of weeks, some of you have asked, why can't Palestinians fly out of the war zone in Gaza? Well, they can't because there hasn't been an airport in the Gaza Strip since 2001. That was the last time it had a direct link to the outside world. Yasser Arafat International Airport was completely destroyed by Israeli forces during the Second Intifada, a Palestinian uprising that began in 2000 and ended 5 years later. The Israel Defense Forces bombed the airport's radar towers and bulldozed the runway. It called the airport a security concern, saying it was a way to bring weapons into Gaza. At the time, the Council of the International Civil Aviation Organization, a United Nations agency that oversees the cooperation of country civilian flights, spoke out about the move. It condemned Israel for what it characterized as unlawful acts of violence, and it urged the Israeli government to rebuild the airport. Since then, there have been heavy restrictions on the movement of people and goods. Palestinians can't leave Gaza. Many have spent their whole lives in the territory. That's because Israel controls Gaza's airspace and seaports, which has severely impacted its economy and society. It's forced many residents to rely on humanitarian aid for food, water, education, and more. Back in 1998, when Gaza International Airport first opened, Palestinian politicians called it a symbol of the pursuit of peace and statehood for Palestinians. It was constructed following the Oslo Accords, a set of agreements between Israel and Palestine to establish peace. The airport was named after political leader Yasser Arafat, a controversial figure who led the peace process for Palestinians in the 90s. The Oslo Accords established the Palestinian Authority and gave it limited autonomy in Gaza and parts of the occupied West Bank. And yet, Israel retained control of the airspace above Gaza and the West Bank as it does today. That means any travelers going to or leaving Gaza must use land borders, and there are only two: the Rafah crossing at Egypt's border in the south and the Erez crossing at Israel's border in the north. But just because you can go to these crossings doesn't mean you'll be able to access them. Only people with specific work permits and under certain circumstances can get through. Human Rights Watch says the situation shows how Israel's occupation unjustly restricts the movement of Palestinians and human rights workers.